You guys see me? Awesome. Oh, no, I guess not. Okay, how can we fix this? Can you guys see me? Okay, cool. I hope this video finds you guys well. This is my second YouTube video, as you guys know, and I am actually having a really hard time, like, finding the motivation and the energy and the desire and the life force to record this video, and I find that really, really ironic because this video is about motivation and having energy and, you know, having the energy to do those things that you want to do in your daily life. So it's kind of funny that, you know, these past couple days that I've been trying to record this video, I've actually been really struggling with the topic at hand. But yeah. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about something that is very, very important for us and something that drives us in our everyday life, and that is having energy, and that is having motivation and the life force within us to wake up every morning and make the best out of our days, whether that be waking up and deciding that, you know, today is my day off, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go on a hike, I'm going to be productive today, I don't want to be lazy, or, you know, whether that be waking up early in the morning and having to get to work. Though all of those things do require energy, and oftentimes I think that at some point or another we all struggle with the question of having enough energy or not having it, or why we don't have it, or, you know, wishing we always had more of it. So today I want to touch on a couple of tips that I have found that have been useful for me in my own life, as well as some things that I found within my own life that are not of any positive influence when it comes to finding motivation, staying motivated, and having energy every single day to do the things that we want to do with our lives. But on top of just finding motivation, I think that once we are able to find motivation and to find energy, we do come into a place where we are able to do a lot more, such as setting goals and also feeling fulfilled, because, you know, without energy, we don't have the force within us to do anything. We don't have the motivation to go out and do those things that we love to do, to go out and go on a hike, or wake up and record this YouTube video, or wake up and clean the kitchen, or, you know, whatever that may be. Without energy and without life force, we're immobile. We don't have the will and the drive to get up and do something with our daily lives. So this is a very important topic, and it's not just for, you know, millennials, as my first video was. And about that, I found that, you know, I actually really touched on a very controversial topic with my first video, but this topic is going to be a better alignment with the kinds of topics that I want to discuss in my YouTube channel. So let me know what you guys think about this video in the comments below, and let's get right to it. I do have a couple of little notes that I have here in my notebook that I'm going to be looking down at so that I can stay in line with what I want to talk to you guys about. So before we go ahead and jump into the things that I have found for myself that have been of positive influence when it comes to finding motivation, I want to go ahead and just share some things with you guys that I've found within my own life that have been of negative influence, like I mentioned earlier. So I'm just going to go through a little list of those and share with you guys how these things have come into play in my own life. Because I'm not a perfect human being, I'm not a saint, these things are very alive and well, and I still, you know, have a hard time with coming to grips with them and deciding to, you know, instead of doing these things, doing something that's going to be more progressive for my life, and thus finding energy and motivation to do those things. So one of those first things is oversleeping. So it is actually 8:16 in the morning right now. I woke up around 7:30 this morning, so I'm just wide awake, just barely waking up now. But I have found that, for example, if today I had woken up at 9 or 10 or 11, I would not be recording this video right now. I wouldn't have the time to do it, just because waking up so late in the morning, you really kind of just kind of shed hours away from your morning and your ability to get things done. There's nothing wrong with sleeping in. I love sleeping in. If your body calls for it, sleeping in is what you need to do. But when you've overslept your system, I find that you're actually even more tired. I know, obviously, when you sleep in, when you wake up in the morning and it's 6 or 7 in the morning and you're exhausted and you really don't have any obligations to really wake up to, and you feel that you want to go back to bed, that's because your body's calling for it. You're exhausted. So I totally understand that making sure that your body is completely rested is very, very important, just as much as making sure that you're not oversleeping is very important and detrimental for your energy levels and motivation levels. But yeah, I've found that when I oversleep, I feel really lethargic, and I actually don't feel energized. I feel even more tired. I feel lazy. I don't really want to do anything. I've found that not only does my body feel like it doesn't really want to do anything, but my face feels tired. Like, my eyes feel tired. I have a harder time waking up in the morning. Like, my system and my mind and my body have been asleep for, you're getting over 12 hours of sleep or over 8 hours of sleep. That's when I find that I get overtired. Your system's been asleep for so long that you're kind of just like, I feel like for myself, it takes like a solid hour before I'm truly back in reality and conscious again. So I think that oversleeping, when it comes to wanting to maintain high levels of energy and motivation, getting the right amount of sleep is really important. Next tip, or next thing that I've found for myself in my own life, is a really tricky one, and this can look different for everyone in their lives, because we obviously all lead different lives, but it's a pretty general statement. But staying comfortable. So staying comfortable, like I said, it means different things for every one of us because we're all different. But for myself, staying comfortable has looked like, on days off, when I don't have to go to work, choosing to not do anything with my day, choosing to stay in bed, choosing to watch TV, choosing to, when I have the opportunity to wake up and do something productive with myself, choosing not to do that, choosing to stay in your comfort zone and not make any efforts to really do something different with your life on a day-to-day basis. Obviously, that's a very general statement, like I mentioned, but it's important that we all ask ourselves that question, like, in what ways in my life am I staying comfortable? Staying comfortable can look very, very minuscule. It can also be very, very big. You might not realize that you're doing it, or it might be very obvious that you're doing it. Sorry, guys, can you still see me? So take a look at your own life and ask yourself the question, how am I staying comfortable today? Or, like, in what ways can I not stay comfortable today? In what ways can I go out of my comfort zone today and really do something different with my day? I think that we all tend to follow a very predictable schedule and a pretty predictable lifestyle from our day-to-day basis because it's comfortable. And we've obviously all heard that quote that says, life starts outside of your comfort zone. And I know that it's a pretty just like mainstream, like general quote, but it's so true. Like, life, for myself, okay, a personal life experience or a personal life example, life starts outside of your comfort zone. I've found this so true for myself, and it's just been happening in like the last week or so. I've, started to tap into something that makes me very uncomfortable. I've started to tap into something that I've wanted to do for a really long time, but it's been something that I've been afraid to do for like ever. So, and that's starting YouTube. I've wanted to start YouTube for so long, but I've been so afraid because it's so out of my comfort zone. I'm not used to putting myself in front of a camera and talking to a camera when there's really nobody on the other side. I'm being challenged to really learn how to articulate my thoughts and to share my thoughts with others. That's something that I've always struggled with when it comes to human relationships with people, like really learning how to become vulnerable with others, and that's in that way it's been very challenging for me. So that's been, something that I've been challenged with, to come out of my comfort zone, and I found that it feels so fulfilling. It feels so good to actually, once I've recorded a video, once I've learned or, gotten through trying to articulate my thoughts as well as possible, after I've recorded that video and after I've seen the finished product of a video, it feels so fulfilling, and it's almost like I've tapped into... I'm dog sitting right now, so if you guys see this pup, she's super cute. Her name's Zana. But as I was saying, it's super uncomfortable to do things that we don't feel comfortable with. They might be things that we want to do. They might be things that we don't necessarily want to do that we have to do. But I found that when we do decide to go out of our comfort zone on a day-to-day basis, it feels so good, and it feels like I'm starting to live. It feels like I'm actually doing something progressive for my life. It feels so good. So it's really important that we ask ourselves in our daily lives, and being honest. How do I stay comfortable? How do I, on a day-to-day basis, choose comfort over living life on the edge? Because I can guarantee that if you choose to live life on the edge of your comfort zone, amazing things are going to happen for you, and you're going to get a taste of something that you love, and you're not going to want to stop. And that's not to say that the next time that you go out of your comfort zone that it's going to be easy, or that it's going to be, like you've done this a million times. It's going to be really hard. Just as I said, I'm struggling with finding the motivation to make this video, or I was up until now. But once you start doing it, once you say, okay, you know what? Setting all things aside, all of those thought forms, all of those inhibitions that are keeping me in my comfort zone, setting all of that aside and choosing to do something that is good for myself, and choosing to do something that isn't comfortable, but in the long run is going to help me, it feels really good. Okay, so the next thing that I've actually found that in my life has been a culprit for lack of energy and not having motivation is something that I actually still struggle with. It's not necessarily a struggle, but it's still something that I'm trying to come to grips with when it comes to finding balance when it comes to this, and that is watching television. Television is a amazing technology, and it allows us to really kind of lose ourselves, and I think that there's a healthy amount to which you can watch television and it be okay. But it's also another thing when you do begin to lose yourself in watching television, in the sense that you are watching it like hours out of your day. I think that is such, for myself in my life, I found that watching television is just like the most unmotivating force in my life. It just kind of sucks my energy dry, and it sucks my creativity dry, because I'm just sitting here watching television, and physically I'm not moving whatsoever, so my body is just kind of like in a place of stagnation, and also my mind is not being truly stimulated in a way where I am being challenged to think, where I'm being challenged to process. It's just kind of like a pastime that we often as people do to just kind of unwind and to really not think. Like, a lot of us just want to watch TV too, and I'm not sure if this is the case for you. I'm just saying this for myself, but when I've chosen to watch TV on days where I don't really have much obligation to do other tasks, it's because I'm looking for a way to tune out of my mind, to tune out of my life. And I think that if you're watching TV for that reason, it's not the healthiest thing for you. So in that way, I found that watching TV and choosing to tune out of my life and to choose to tune out of my mind and to tune into something that is unreal has been a major source of lack of energy and just stagnation within my life force energy. So take a look at that within your own life and see whether or not this is something that you're doing, and ask yourself if this is something that is of use to you, if it helps you, if it makes you feel good, or if in the long run, at the end of the night, when you are laying in bed and you realize that you really didn't do much, because I know that I've done that many a times, where I've just chosen, you know what, I don't really have anything to do today. I'm just going to sit and watch TV. I'm going to hang out and watch some reality TV show. At the end of the day, I know that I don't feel good when all I've done is watch TV. So you might find that in your own life, you might feel the same way, and you might resonate with, TV not feeling good for you in your life, or watching TV not feeling good in your own life. I wonder, can you guys see me? Another super, super big culprit and reason for lack of energy for many of us, and probably one of the bigger reasons for my lack of energy in my life, it has to be eating. What are you eating on a day-to-day basis? What are you eating first thing in the morning? What are you eating for lunch? What are you eating for dinner? What are you snacking on? These things are very, very important when it comes to feeling light, when it comes to feeling energized and having the motivation to go on a run or get daily tasks done. For myself, in my life, I found that, I wake up in the morning and I have a list of things that I'd like to accomplish for myself, a list of activities or a list of, creative processes that I'd like to go through to express myself. But obviously, eating is a very, very important facet of our daily lives. We have to eat. But it all comes down to what we're eating. I found that in times where I do have a list of things that I want to do, and I do want to go express myself, and I want to have fun, and I want to feel good, but I'm hungry, and I'm not consciously choosing what I'm eating, and I end up eating something heavy. For example, I am currently vegan, but I found that when I wasn't vegan, when I was eating out a lot, and I think that when you're vegan, you are kind of forced to eat out less, which has been one of the bigger reasons why I've had more energy, because I find that when I go out and I eat out, I'm making less of a conscious choice to eat good foods. So for example, when I was not eating vegan, I actually would go to In-N-Out. If you guys don't know what In-N-Out is, it's a burger joint, fast food burger joint that serves burgers. They have french fries, they have milkshakes and stuff like that. So when I wasn't eating vegan, I would go to, and this wasn't on a day-to-day basis, this wasn't very often, but when I would feel so bad. I would go to In-N-Out, I would order an animal fry, and if you guys don't know what an animal fry is, it's deadly. So it's french fries with melted cheese on top with their secret sauce and I think onions on it, as well as a milkshake. I get a strawberry milkshake with that animal fry all the time, and during I would feel so good. I'd be like, yes, this is so good, this tastes amazing, sugar, french fries, fried food, cheese, I would love it. It obviously tastes so good, but afterwards it's so funny and interesting to think about, and it's funny to observe, and you should take a look at your own life and observe the way that you feel after you're eating certain things, and becoming aware of those things and deciding you know what, I don't like the way that made me feel. I don't want to feel like that. You're able to make better choices. And that's what I've come to terms with. I'm still obviously struggling with that. There are still obviously a lot of vegan options that are not very good for you. Just because you're vegan doesn't mean you're healthy. There are definitely junk food vegans, and for the first time, because I've gone vegan a couple of times, I definitely resorted to being the junk food vegan, and I wasn't feeling very good. But as I was saying, when you eat heavy foods, whether that be meat, it doesn't just have to be meat, but I found that in my life, eating meat was one of the bigger food items that was making me feel weighed down and heavy and very lethargic and unmotivated. When you eat those kinds of foods, when you eat foods that aren't really of any nutritional value to you, you're not going to feel very good. I know that this is probably going to be very triggering for a few people. And if I were watching this video myself from somebody else, I'd feel very triggered right now because food is a very, very touchy subject. But all I'm simply saying is, this is something that I found true in my own life, and this has been one of the bigger culprits for why I don't have energy and why I lack motivation to do the things that I want to do. So all I'm asking for you guys is to really kind of ask yourselves or pay attention to your own habits, and if this is something that you're serious about, if this is something that you truly struggle with, if you struggle with having energy and finding motivation to get things done throughout your day, not just like not having the motivation within your mind, but like your body not feeling up to the task and not feeling very energized, it might have a lot to do with what you're eating. So just, if you'd like, take a look at that, and you might find that, my situation and my story with heavy eating or eating in general might resonate true to your own life and have some kind of resonating aspect within your own life as well. Okay, so another culprit that I have found true in my own life when it comes to doing something that isn't really an aid to giving me energy is social media scrolling. I know this is such a huge thing, and we all do this. We're always scrolling. I think that at some point throughout our day we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on Instagram, we are on many social media sites, because that is the kind of technology that we have available to us today. We are the digital age. We are the computer age. We are always on our computers. We have so much information available to us. So we are always tuned into that kind of, that unit of being involved and being connected. And there's nothing, I think that social media is such an amazing way to be connected. I found that for myself a lot of the times. I use social media to feel inspired. I go on Instagram and I see people who are out traveling and they're outside and they're in nature and they're designing or they are expressing themselves in a truly creative way, and that inspires me to go and live my own truth in that way and to find a creative outlet for myself. But I think that it is also, alongside TV, there is a healthy balance to which we can and to which we should scroll on YouTube, or to scroll on social media. Ultimately, when we're scrolling on social media, I think that, we end up feeling envious, or we end up feeling like shit about ourselves just because we're watching other people's, we're scrolling through other people's pages, and we're watching these people, go out and, live their truth and express themselves and really, use their energy. We are seeing other people on Instagram or on social media harness their own energy and find the energy in their own lives to go out and do these things, and it doesn't make us feel good. So I found that for myself, being envious of other people is one of the most detrimental and most social media scrolling on Instagram, especially, when it comes to scrolling for hours or even just 30 minutes. It doesn't make you feel good. You feel like you just wasted 30 minutes of your day. Or I feel that I've wasted precious time, and in turn, at the end of that, I don't feel good. I don't feel inspired truly. I feel envious, and I found that feeling envy for other people's lives and for others who are actually living their lives and going outside and doing something, I feel like it doesn't feel good. It doesn't motivate me to go out and do that. In fact, it makes me just feel I'm so jealous that they get to go and do this, their life's perfect or something. But you know what? Their life's not perfect, but those people are choosing to use their life force energy for something greater than just staying comfortable and scrolling through social media. I know that sounds kind of harsh, but it's true. These people who are really capitalizing and living the life of their dreams are people who actually most likely do something. They on a day-to-day basis, they don't probably spend 30 minutes out of their day or an hour or are constantly checking their phone for social media to see, what other people are up to. Like, they're choosing to take that precious energy and use that precious time to actually make and turn their lives into something that they want, that they're proud of. So, yeah, these are all things that I know that a lot of that stuff might sound kind of harsh. A lot of the things that I'm saying might be triggering for a lot of you, but it's simply coming from a place of acknowledgement and conscious realization in my own life of things that I found from my own life. And when I say that social media just leads to feeling envious of other people's lives, it's something that I found true within my own life. And when I say that, eating heavy foods is one of the bigger culprits for having a lack of motivation, it isn't coming from a place of judgment, but it's coming from a place of compassion and understanding, because I have been on that boat so many times, and I'm still on that boat, and I'm still trying to, come to grips and learn the ropes when it comes to eating a very balanced diet, or, finding balance with all of these things, finding balance with my sleep cycle, finding balance with comfort. Comfort feels good. Comfort is something that, at times we need, and there's nothing wrong with being comfortable, but it's all about finding a healthy balance of being comfortable, having a healthy balance of inactivity, having a healthy balance of just relaxing, having a healthy balance when it comes to watching television, when it comes to your eating habits, when it comes to social media scrolling. There's a balance with everything. There's a certain amount to which we can do all of these things where it's okay and it's not going to hurt us. But I bring these points up as a way to, say if you are going beyond like that healthy balance, these things might be something that you should take into consideration within your own life that are causing some form of lack of motivation in your life, or lack of energy, or just lack of will to like get up and do something about your life. Because I know that I've been there. I know that there have been many times where I've sat on the couch all day and I've felt really bad about myself, but I just don't have the energy to do it. But these are all inclusively, these all work together. These are all culprits that work together to give us a lack of energy. For example, most likely when I'm eating heavy foods, when I am eating heavy food and I am finished with that food and I felt good during it, but now I feel like crap and I feel really tired and lethargic and gross, I'm most likely just going to choose to sit on the couch and watch TV rather than going out and doing something to kind of just work that through my body. And that is what I'm talking about, guys. That is what I'm here to share with you guys, is finding the motivation to work through all of that and to pay attention in your own lives to the things that may be hindering you from feeling motivated and having energy. Because obviously, there are many things that are not on this list of things that I found within my own life that are not helping with when it comes to motivation. There are very, very many other things. And you might find that, you don't have an issue with heavy eating, or that you don't have an issue with oversleeping or staying comfortable. That you might find that you're actually a very active person, but you also may find that there are other things in your life that are not of help and that are not conducive to, growth and when it comes to finding motivation. So, now that we've talked about some really touchy, triggering subjects, I want to go ahead and share with you guys the things that I have found within my own life that have actually helped with finding motivation. So these are some tips for how you can harness and ultimately learn how to channel your energy. So talked about oversleeping. So with oversleeping, there is the balance of getting just the right amount of sleep, right? So I've found within my own life, when I am getting to bed at a decent hour, and I'm waking up at, around after 8 hours of sleep, I feel really good. I feel rested. I don't feel overtired. I feel like I'm starting off the day with just the right amount of energy to get my day started. So that is one of the things that I found for myself that helps when it comes to finding energy, is getting the right amount of sleep. Like, there is the opposite of oversleeping, and there's also the balance of getting just the right amount of sleep. Water. That is another thing that I want to touch on. Drinking water is so, so important. Our body needs it. Drink water. Drink plenty of water. I found a lot of times as well for myself, I found that it's kind of a task to drink water. Like, you have to like really consciously choose and make the effort to stay on top of drinking water. And when I found that I'm not drinking enough water, or being conscious about like how much I'm taking in, I've found that I don't drink any water for like a good 4 or 5 hours out of the day, and that's so bad for your body. Not only are you dehydrating yourself, but water is kind of just like, it's life. Water is life. Water gives you energy. Water is hydrating. It makes you feel good. It's good for your body. Make sure that you're drinking water. Water will help you. I know that, a lot of us do drink water, and I know that a lot of us really don't like drinking water. We think it's gross, but really making the conscious effort to drink water and drinking the right amount of water throughout your day is going to make a difference in your life. I can guarantee that, because I found that when I don't drink water, when I'm at work and I'm busy and I haven't made the effort to drink like 2 or 3 of these, I don't feel good. I feel really irritable. I feel gross. There's something like inside that doesn't feel too good, and it's not that I've been eating wrong or anything. It's that I haven't had enough water. My body is like bone dry, and my body is like SpongeBob in that episode where he's in Sandy's little glass dome and he's just like dying for water. Like, he's just a very dry sponge, and that's what your body feels like. That's when you're not drinking water, your body is a dry sponge and it's just crusty and gross. So make sure that you're drinking enough water. I haven't had enough water, as you can see. This is all I've had this morning, but conscious effort is the first step. Okay, so next, another tip that I have for you guys that I found for myself in my own life is getting uncomfortable. We've obviously talked about staying comfortable and what that looks like for us in our individual lives and how that may be different for all of us. But getting uncomfortable. I gave you guys a little example at the beginning of the video about how getting uncomfortable and... Sana, excuse me. What you doing? Hi. Okay, so getting uncomfortable. I gave you guys a pretty good example of what getting uncomfortable has looked like in my own life as of recently. Okay, go. And that has been starting YouTube. Starting YouTube has been something that for seriously years I've been wanting to do YouTube. Years. I've been watching YouTube since I was like 12 or 13 years old, and it's been a really, really big part of my life. And I think that for myself, within me, there's been something that's been wanting to start YouTube for such a long time, but obviously there is fear that is to be overcome, and a lot of thought processes that we have within our own heads that we have to really come to terms with and deal with before we can find the courage to do that. But that's a topic for a different video that I would love to make for you guys. But getting uncomfortable in the sense that I just finally decided that I was going to make a YouTube video and that I was just going to go for it. It's been really, really uncomfortable, and it doesn't feel good at first. It doesn't feel good to sit here in front of a camera and talk, because it's so often for me to just stay quiet, and this, has a lot to do with like the way that I interact with other people. But oftentimes I'll just stay quiet and I'll just be the observer and the listener, and the receiver. But it's so hard and very uncomfortable for me to go out of my comfort zone, in the sense that I am being the one who's talking and sharing my ideas and articulating my own thoughts. And that's another thing, articulating your own thoughts. If you're not somebody who's used to being a speaker, it's very uncomfortable to know how to express yourself in a way that you can, really kind of reflect that and outwardly and have people relate and understand what you're saying. It's really uncomfortable, and I'm still like learning that. I think that I'll be learning that for the rest of my life, is learning how to express myself accurately and express myself creatively. It's been very, very uncomfortable, but at the same time, as much as it's been uncomfortable, it's been something that I've wanted to do for such a long time now that while it does feel uncomfortable, it feels really good as well. So getting uncomfortable, doing those things that we want to do but that we're too scared to do, it's about doing that. When you have done those things, when you've gone out of your comfort zone and you've tapped into like this life force within yourself that you never even knew you had. For example, like I feel so good lately, even just after posting that first video, as much as it wasn't the best quality video, as much as I clearly am a very amateur YouTuber thus far, I've been able to tap into something that feels really, really good for myself, and something that taps in and something that's been very, very fulfilling within myself. And I find that there's nothing more motivating than to know that you're doing something for yourself, know that you're going out of your comfort zone, and you're doing something on a day-to-day basis that is going out of your comfort zone, but that it feels good. It feels so, so good. So yeah, go ask yourself in your lives in which way you can get uncomfortable without getting too uncomfortable. I find that, for myself, I thought like, well, going outside of my comfort zone is really scary, but going outside of your comfort zone doesn't have to be that scary. It just has to like get you on the tips of your toes. Like you just gotta be doing something that you don't do on a day-to-day basis. It doesn't have to be some huge thing where you're going out and you're like doing a seminar and you've never done it before. You're speaking in front of like hundreds of people or maybe just 50 people. Like it doesn't have to be that scary. Granted, if you're bold enough to do that, and if you are the kind of person that wants to do that kind of stuff, and you know that you can, that would be so awesome for you. And going out of your comfort zone in that way is only going to breed growth. It's only going to help you. But going outside of your comfort zone doesn't have to look some crazy way, like you're jumping out of a freaking plane and you're going skydiving. Obviously, like that's such an adrenaline rush, and I feel like I'd love to do that. But it's just about doing something that is atypical for your life on a day-to-day basis, something that you don't typically do. So, if you are used to in the mornings just kind of opening up your laptop and scrolling through YouTube or going on Facebook and watching Netflix or something like that, do something that is not in relation to that. Do something that's completely different than that. If you have a dog, take him on a walk. If you have a pool, go swimming. If you have a gym membership and you typically don't go until like the end of the day, go in the mornings. Just kind of like switch your schedule up, do something different, and I can guarantee that nothing bad will come from you making little changes like that in your life. In fact, you're going to feel really good at the end of the day, or you're going to feel good at the end of the task. It's not even a task, it's an opportunity for growth. And if you choose to go outside of your comfort zone in that way, you're going to feel really good. Okay, so another tip. We have talked about watching too much TV, and just as there is a balance for oversleeping and sleeping just the right amount and staying comfortable, and the balance between going out of your comfort zone and staying comfortable, there's a balance with everything. So, in my personal opinion, I like watching TV, I like watching Netflix, I like going on YouTube, I like watching documentaries, but I found that for myself in my own life, it is more conducive for my growth and for my energy levels and for my ability to stay motivated throughout my day to limit watching TV or watching YouTube or watching Netflix or social media scrolling even for the end of the day when you have had an opportunity and you've used your day to do something, and you've been productive, and you've been progressive, and you feel good, and you're just unwinding, it's the end of the day, and you have nothing left to do. I think that just that shift in schedule, that shift in, in instead of watching TV during the day and watching TV at night, it allows and it opens up your schedule even more, and it opens up time for you to actually get more done throughout your day, and you're going to feel, I can guarantee, you're going to feel more fulfilled, and you won't feel as guilty for watching TV when you're watching it at night, because I know that there have been times where I'm just really done nothing and I've watched TV and I feel really guilty about it because I could have been doing something better with my life. But when you've kind of made way for your day and you've paved out a schedule where you're doing something and you've been productive and you've been progressive, in that case, there's absolutely nothing wrong with watching TV. In fact, you deserve it. So I hope that my tips and tricks that I have found within my own life that have been of detriment as well as of positive influence for my life, I hope that they are of use for you guys, and that you just simply, if you are somebody who struggles with having energy and having energy to find motivation to get things done throughout your day, to take those things into consideration and just be very conscious about your day-to-day schedule and the things that you're doing within your day, because I can guarantee day-to-day lives that are not really being of aid when it comes to staying motivated and finding energy. So thank you guys so much for tuning in to my second YouTube video. I hope you guys liked it. Please let me know what you think in the comments below, and thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks. Have a great day.